This is chapter 5. I should probably explain a little bit about the book. It's about, on the back there's this sort of definition of big data, and this book centers around the creation of a big data scheme by what is the previous administration of the United States, which is in an attempt to, or an administration modeled on the previous administration of the United States, which is basically attempting to determine human behavior or be able to predict human behavior by like huge piles of behavioral information, which can then be accessed and processed and sort of used as a predictor for what essentially crime prediction and terrorism prediction. The scheme starts to go wrong, and at one point they hire this guy who's like a super hacker, who's like also an idiot, and basically hilarity ensues. And I should probably say that when people refer to AIDS, they're referring to the hacker because that's his nickname. Okay. On that note, here we go. So, chapter 5. Lemur, which is his real name, Lemur got an office in DC and a lot of new toys for torturing small digital animals and some electronic spray paint to vandalize the message boards he didn't like. For a good 6 months, it must have been like paradise for him. No work, no deadlines, effectively unlimited budget. One thing you could say for the boy, he didn't waste money. Everything he bought, he used, for better or for worse. Switch continued, but it was more about the logging of air miles than actually about recruiting anybody. Being a tech expert in government is one thing, but when some kid goes on to you about what was buzzing in some chat room, his inadequacy becomes pretty clear pretty quick. General Morris felt that resources could be better allocated by trying to recruit younger agents to NSA directly, so they had a few people to look into setting up campus recruiting drives. In the meantime, he decided to blow his own cover by asking to address a conference in February. Pablo went crazy. You want to look in your wallet for me, Generalito? See all those little green pieces of paper there? What the fuck do you think you're getting them for? If I'd wanted a media star, I would have gotten in touch with what's-his-fuck, Alec Baldwin. God knows he could use the work. You're dark, D-A-R-C-K. That means you get dark and you stay dark, or you're going to be pissing through a USB cable. General Morris talked him down. Better to hide in plain sight. Let the actual recruiting take place in a student union bar or some rave. For his money, the speech could have gone much worse. There was a Q&A, lots of rhetorical Q's, and lots of boilerplate A's. Lots of, you guys are the future, and freedom is about not just being threatened on a battlefield anymore, but you don't need me to tell you that. He looked old, dopey, out of touch, like the kind of guy who would describe himself as dopey. In other words, perfect cover for Lemur. It wasn't exactly progress. Recruiting was still dial-up, in the words of his field agents, and I don't think we're upgrading to high-speed anytime soon, they said. General Morris was sanguine. He knew Washington, and if somebody knew you had a golden goose honking in your bathtub, pretty soon they'd be asking for recipes for golden omelets. You just had to wait for them to realize they were hungry. Spring was thawing Washington out. The cherry blossoms were just on the verge of opening, creating the short-lived illusion that the city was a product of natural processes and history, rather than a long waking dream of business and warlords alternatively locked in mortal combat and seamy symbiosis. New ideas were hatching too, and not just in General Morris's department. When the director of the FBI rang his office in May and asked how the leader from the coven of Switch was doing, it was the first time General Morris had thought about Lemur since the last expense report was filed. Even then, he was just a more or less annoying abstraction, tapping away at a keyboard in a distant corner of the general's mind. Hard to imagine Lemur happier was General Morris's response. Well, there might at least be some serious work for him. That was, if General Morris didn't mind sparing his star pupil. It wasn't something General Morris objected to, but he couldn't speak for what the FBI director might feel in a few months' time. Anyway, why not drop by the offices today? The coffee was a lot better than the shit they give you down at NSA. Plus, nobody sniffs if you order a latte. Take a seat, Dean. You cooking up hacker chili, Bob? Maybe. We think your friend Lemur might be able to help us on a little project. We've got some chat room Charlies who probably need a spanking, but who would enjoy it too much if we gave it to him. So you're giving Lemur the paddle? Well, we'd like to. He seems like a paddler by nature. I don't let him near any sharp objects. Trust me, Dean, you won't be dealing with anything sharp. The target was one of the germ colonies the web periodically brings together. They called themselves the Securocrats, 4 people who haunted dark web chat rooms and basically posted incomprehensible messages to each other. Our translators think they've got something going to target defense. Over what? Oh, they're targeting some tin hat hacker in Belgium over a packet search he did on defense a while back. He was looking for evidence of the Great Lizard conspiracy or something. Basically, it's a deterrent as far as we're concerned. We probably would ask for leniency in sentencing, but you know these people. Quote, an attack on one is an attack on all that D'Artagnan shit. And Lemur stops them? He could do it, but I wouldn't call him reliable, Bob. Not so much stops, just misdirects. Let him ride one of his little Trojan hobby horses for a while, and the key is to get these guys inside it and to take some screen grabs of them in the act of autoerotic career asphyxia. I'll talk to him, Bob, but you know, you guys aren't paying me enough. I talked to the CNC the other day. He likes what you've been doing. That makes one of us. I think you'll get another crack at high level. That's just me talking, Dean, but it's not over. I think that's clear. How's Tricks, AIDS? How's Tricks, mi generalito? You wouldn't know anybody in Securocrats, would you? Would you have told them to come up with I would have told them to come up with a better name if I did. Don't generally talk to houseplants. Got some people on my back who wish you would. Any particular topic? I know they like breaking into things. I thought maybe you could give them some ideas. I'm full of ideas, Generalito. All we ask is that you stay away from a couple of pretty obvious places. We just like you to have some conversations with them. We know they like talking. Seems they're concerned about this guy over in Belgium, Guy van Glabkle. Oh yeah, you guys made down at the Pentagram. Oh yeah, he made you guys down at the Pentagram look kind of dumb, didn't he? Yeah, well, it wasn't on my watch. Look, get them to watch the watch for a bit, and when they're feeling very, very sleepy, we'll be pleased as Punch. Punch is generally pleased, mi generalito. That afternoon, he was in the Securocrats chat den, 5 Sputter, and was making hay. Guy's guy, aka Lemur. Y'all need to stop fucking with DOD and start asking why Mr. Belgique is talking extradition blues for your boy, Chiapet. Okay, here we go. Belgium isn't even a real country, bozo. Eagles have longer memories than pigeons. Guy's guy. I'm hearing yada yada yada, burn Bel Chic, and everyone in Europa thinks 2 times or 3 times before Horizon Uncle Sam dinner party request. Cloud Citizen, I like. Guy's guy. Think big JPEG, boys and ghouls. Big JPEGs. It wasn't a fun Monday morning for the webmasters of plucky little Belgium. The attack came in waves. Lemur and the Securocrats started things off by sending videos of gay porn with the head of the Belgium's prime minister morphed onto one of the actors directly from the PM's office to the inbox of his aides. By the time they'd gotten that under control, a series of Lemur Dick-style messages in French and Dutch started going out to Belgian citizens who had queries about their passports. Finally, they crashed the www.belgium.be and replaced it with a stream of conspiracy-themed videos about the symbology of dollar bills, backward messages and speeches by presidents, prime ministers, and pop stars, 10 minutes of hastily edited Kofi Annan appearing to say "Hail Satan" before the first fixes to the site were made. Lemur even managed to convince one of the Securocrats, a guy who went by the handle Kratz and Kratz and Kratz and Kratz, to give a distorted voice warning message to the people of Belgium that until Guy van Glabkle no longer faced extradition charges, they could look forward to more of the same. The Belgian Prime Minister made a lot of noise about how governments cannot be held to ransom by groups of online highwaymen and vandals. Some of the Belgian papers shrieked a similar tune. Some made an annoying parallel between the Securocrats and the US. If the Prime Minister says he won't be intimidated and that Belgium must stand up for its sovereignty, why then won't it protect its own citizens from one-sided extradition treaties, or words to that effect? Crises piled up until there was a proper crisis traffic jam from Namur to Manassas County. There were a few rogue actions by Securocrats, and of course, Lemur couldn't control himself. He particularly liked replacing the Prime Minister's head with a diseased penis from a medical textbook in official photos, and it took weeks before all his handiwork was finally scrubbed. At last, an inflamed-looking glands weeping next to a World War I memorial beside the British Prime Minister, quote, "a day for reflection," unquote, the headline read. Bob discreetly rang General Morris to ask if he could let some of the pressure off, perhaps. Getting a little gratuitous, I'd say. With my guys, that's always a risk. I'll keep that in mind. General Morris went over to Lemur's den and personally watched him take down a few hidden gems he was waiting to release on the web the following day. Just let me take a screen grab, that's all I'm asking. No dice, hashtag blue balls. The campaign ended. The Belgian PM still had dreams for weeks. A few months later, the PM put his interior minister before cameras to say that she felt it was not in the interest of Belgium to extradite Guy van Glabkle to the United States because of the accusations related to acts which were neither financial nor political in motive. There was plenty of noise on the hardline Flemish right, the PM caving in to, quote, half-evolved internet monkeys with no opposable thumbs, unquote, but they would have complained if it had gone all the way, if it had gone the other way as well. The announcement only really merited about 30 seconds on one network news channel and the rolling puppet show on Fox for about 2 hours, but that didn't stop holy hell from being rained down from Foggy Bottom and the Pentagon. After a seemingly endless parade of calls bombed his office from apoplectic people from state and defense going on about how many fences they'd have to mend or how he'd like it if his department was thrown under the bus in a similar way, things calmed down. Presumably General Morris called to Bob to soothe things over, but he was still worried when the president called later that evening. I wouldn't be planning on any muscles and freaks for a while, Dean, but I have to tell you, from where I'm sitting, it showed me what you're capable of. Well, what your personnel are capable of. Well, Mr. President, I think we have to make do with a burger and fries for now. What do you think? Laughter? Score?